Do you remember that time down by the canals? Random bonfire found. Who made it? Who built it? Cross-country runs. And then revisiting later with our girlfriends, off skinny dipping in a tiny lake amongst this canal network, somewhere up the Grand Union, no doubt. And then the other times in the park, in the hollowed out old oak. Those times we were there in the park, getting drunk as young teenagers with our friends. 3 boys, 3 girls, usually. And there we were, amongst the great wide oaks, the cricket pitches, the merry downsider, the smoking oak leaves the next morning when we ran out of tobacco. No, never again, but not as bad as cornflakes. That time when I was too drunk after we had raided that friend's father's drinks cabinet and found I don't know what. I have no memory, except the burn on my lip the next morning from trying to smoke cornflakes. Most strange. Or that time, I remember you ate the cigarette you were offered and regretted it by the end of the alley. But that was before we took up smoking. Late starters, even back then, even by any standards. What, 16? 17? That time on the underground train, you just wanted to see what I would look like with a lit cigarette upon me. As if maybe, smoking did make you look cooler, even back then. Or that time, the long walk to Heathrow, the only place we thought we could go because our camp got rained out, thunder and lightning, and the lads never showed up. So we abandoned camp by 1 p.m. We'd pretty much run out of firewood, which we'd been collecting all the day before from around in this secret place not far from the motorway. Yes. You nearly got hypothermia that night. If I didn't get you up. We were so tired, exhausted. What was it, 10 miles? Probably not. Probably only 5 or 6 miles, but still, that was a long, long walk. When we knew at our age, again, what were we, 15? We shouldn't really be found on the roads at 3 a.m. in the morning. But I think we got there by about 5. And then it was just a question on our rather muddy states to get back on that bus, the first bus, back home again. All the mad things we do. Do you remember that time? Because I only heard about it, the trip to Southend, where the cops did intervene and wonder, how did you lot get here? Fare evasions, was it? I don't know, I wasn't there. Missed that one. Do you remember that time with the cassettes from the Spectrum or the ZX81 or both maybe? And because I was off with another friend at the same time, you were meant to be coming round, but sure, weren't you coming around every single day near enough? Not that I minded, but on this occasion, sure, I hadn't seen this other friend in months. So we did go off. Caught you in my room when we got back, changing around my tapes, taking them out of one box and putting them in the wrong box, knowing that would really piss me off. I caught you doing it, and I think it really made me laugh. I don't know. I wasn't particularly cross. I was just like, you didn't stop even though I was there. And there it is. Another time, remembered the cars. Oh, don't get me fucking started on the cars, man. 11, I think it was, in 1 year. And won twice. But hey, you know, some people are particularly stupid when lending their keys to someone. You know how it goes. And then, oh, the Wimbledon escapade. Yep. Hardly remember any of the models or the makes, but I can see them all in a car park. All 10 of them. Or was it 11? It was probably 11. And then those times in the pubs. Do you remember that time in the Vine? Do you remember that time in the Prince of Wales? I think it was it our 18th? And we decided we were going to have Malibu to get drunk on. We could only afford 4, and realised by the end of those 4 that we weren't really drunk at all. So what was the point? I don't know. Don't you remember that time in Uxbridge, running from the cops? And I swear to God, you might have been known to them, but the rest of us, it was just like, well, we just ran. Just goes to show that if you run from cops, they'll catch you, and they'll think you're doing something wrong. It's like, oh, we were just running. Is there a law against running? I don't think so. No. Out for a bit of jogging, were you? That's right. A likely story. Yeah. And that time, Hewlett Packard, when we were intent on getting into places, pretending to be, you know, business people, smartly dressed and smoothly talking, trying to see if we could get an immediate appointment with someone or other. Or, yeah, we couldn't even get the telecom tower. Yeah, because it was closed. Had been for a while, apparently, but yeah, there you have it. But do you remember that time when that train guard took out a pair of fold-out sunglasses and gave us a rap on places to visit in London because he thought we were 2 rich Americans? Well, that was one of the perks of having dear old Auntie Peggy there with Saud from Kuwait, and he entertaining all the rich sheiks according to the wishes of his boss, who you would think that Saud was like a headhunter. Take out the limousine, take out the Cadillac, whatever, take them to wherever they want to go. They'll want to go to Harrods, they'll want to go to Liberties, they'll probably want to go to a casino, they might want to go and get suits. So sometimes they'd leave behind their kuftans and go back to Kuwait with their suits on. That only happened once. The rest of the time they left the suits behind, so guess who ended up with all the suits? We did. Although some of them might have been misfitting at times, mostly we pulled it off, I think, you know, and looked pretty grand. And of course that time in the underground bar where the drinks were 90 quid because the 90 quid covered the company you were keeping, which was a woman or 2, or like the Oriental guy over in the corner, 10. And they laughed at everything he said. We were like, what is he? Why do they think he's not funny? How much is the drink? No, we don't have that kind of cash. I've got a £5, mate. That's all. Oh, we skipped out of there fairly sharpish. That's the way it goes. Dress rich, but you're poor. Who the fuck would know? don't know if I'm having such a time with my accent because I know I'm recording, so it's a kind of a quantum kind of thing. I have a witness to something, but it's because it's being recorded. It just reminds me of that time down by the railway tracks in the snow. 4 of us, all dressed in black. Skiving, is that the word? Skiving, yeah. Skiving from 5th year because we wanted to go and play in the snow, get really cold. And despite trying to impersonate black bags of rubbish by the side of the track, the driver did shout at us that we really shouldn't be on the tracks. It's illegal. It's more than my job's worth. I cannot hate you. I'm just a sack of rubbish. What are you talking about? You know, people dump rubbish down there all the time. Not that we ever did see much evidence of that, but I'm sure it did happen. Over the fields. Oh, do you remember the fields? Do you remember that time over the fields? The way to school or the way back. Cut off 10 minutes from the usual journey. Don't know about you. You were a bit nearer, but there it is. And that time when the Jaguar blew up. After the High Grove swimming pool, we ended up round, was this Lorraine's, and so did everyone else there. Yes, you remember talking to the great white toilet. Oh, that came out wrong. Must be the whiskey. But that was a time, and there are other later times. There are times with the 2 French guys with the moustache you could smoke. Was one of them Philippe? Of course, yeah. There was always the French connection. But we shall say no more about that, because that was that time. But do you remember that time in Scotland, in Glasgow? Times, I should say. There were a number of those. Strange, odd and unexpected, and yet, I don't know, familiar. Bit cold. Bit wet. But that was that time, and that time then in Holland. In the Netherlands, ja. Ongelooflijk. Beavis and Butthead. I don't know, we just pigged out on Beavis and Butthead one night, and it was the funniest thing we'd ever seen since fucking, even funnier than Red Dwarf. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we were Beavis and Butthead, you know? No guesses for who was who. I'm the short one. Yeah, so there it is, and there was that time too. Or the time you and whoever went off to bed, and I was left alone in this tall flat with doors all around, having just another cup of tea and a smoke before I went to bed, listening to the incredible Irish music that was playing in the water pipes. I'd never heard anything like it, and I've probably heard stuff like it since, because that was because I moved here. So I think that's proof of a completely undulating accent that I can't quite control the whole time. Unless you were here and talking to me, then maybe, you know, we'd both be American. Oh my God! So there it is, anyway. That time, those times. Inspired by Samuel Beckett. And you, of course. I mean, who else? Love you, dude.